Leah had always been an adventurous woman, but she never thought she would find herself in this situation. She was lying in bed, naked, with two men. She had met them at a bar, and one thing had led to another. Now, here she was, her body flushed with anticipation and excitement. The men, Jake and Max, were both handsome and muscular. They had been taking turns kissing her neck and whispering dirty things in her ear. Leah couldn't help but moan as Jake's fingers found her nipples, pinching and twisting them gently. Max, on the other hand, had made his way down to her wet kitty. He was licking and sucking on her love button, driving her wild. Leah couldn't remember the last time she had felt so turned on. Jake, noticing her responsiveness, moved down to join Max. He spread her legs wider and began to lick her kitty, alternating between her love button and her opening. Leah's hips bucked off the bed as she moaned louder. Max, not wanting to be left out, began to finger her netty, sliding his finger in and out, getting it nice and wet. Leah had never felt anything like this before. It was intense, and she could feel herself getting closer and closer to orgasm. Finally, she couldn't take it anymore. She came hard, her body shaking as waves of pleasure washed over her. The men didn't let up, continuing to lick and finger her until she begged them to stop. Jake, still hard, positioned himself at her entrance. He slid in slowly, filling her up. Max, not wanting to be left out, positioned himself at her ass. He slid in slowly, joining Jake and her kitty. Leah had never felt so full before. It was intense, and she could feel herself getting closer and closer to another orgasm. The men began to move, playing with her in unison. Leah couldn't help but moan and scream as she came again, her body shaking with pleasure. The men, not wanting to waste their loads, pulled out and shot their seminal fluid all over her body. Leah lay there, spent, her body covered in sweat and cum. She couldn't believe what had just happened. She had never had a threesome before, and it had been everything she had imagined, and more. As the men got dressed and left, Leah couldn't help but smile. She knew she would never forget this night, and she couldn't wait to do it again.